Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we have a quick video giving you a bit of a teaser of the conversation I had recently with the fantastic YouTube philosophy channel Attic Philosophy. You can check out the full video on their channel over at Attic Philosophy. But for now, take a look at this preview.
Kind of what drew you to philosophy in the first place?
I remember, I think the first time I stepped into a philosophy classroom and heard some of the things that were being talked about, I had the realization that these were ideas and issues that I had thought about my entire life, but had never realized there was a professional place to study them.
One thing I notice about your videos is the kind of style that you adopted, right back then at the start. It's kind of been really consistent all the way through.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like YouTube, maybe it has changed a lot and your approach has stayed the same. Was that kind of something that you intended at the start?
That is a great question. So I definitely, YouTube has gotten a lot higher budget than my videos have been. If any of your viewers have seen my videos, they are very basic. They are very simple. In terms of what I'm presenting, some of that initially, I had the idea of I wanted to be creating something that I felt like I could do consistently without it taking up so much of my life that it made me frustrated, or it felt like I wasn't able to do other things that I loved, or wasn't able to do other things I wanted. There was also a sense in which I wanted to be able to continue to keep creating and spend my time on thinking about the philosophical arguments and not my time on video editing or worrying about my audio quality or these kinds of things.
So it wasn't a kind of a, typically people say, oh yeah, I just fancied writing a book, wanting to be an author. Whereas in your case, that you basically saw a kind of a book-shaped hole in the world for these ideas, and you thought,
Yeah.
right, I have to write these things.
There's this idea in economics that you can value life. You can value a statistical life. And there's a lot of technical details under that of why it may or may not be problematic. But one of the key things is when economists go through this process, it leads to the conclusion that some lives are worth more than others. Some lives are worth much more than others, hundreds of times more than others, just depending on where you were born, other factors, which boil down to how much money you have, really.
When I pick up economics research papers to read, as I do, infrequently, but sometimes it's not so much the numbers that are confusing. It's more like I don't really get what they're trying to do here. They're not presenting me with an argument, but it's not just a
Yeah.
calculation. It's something else. And that comes across quite nicely in the book. The kind of interplay between, I guess, cost-benefit analysis and public decision-making, how we have to have ways to, compare things which on the face of it might not be comparable, so that we can have fair and transparent public decision-making. I mean, that seems like quite a powerful philosophical argument in favor of that kind of methodology.
Definitely. I feel one of the reasons that I wanted to write the book is I feel frustrated because I do think that I don't know, legacy of utilitarianism is alive and well in many ways in economics departments and in cost benefit analysis of actually counting up. We have this public policy we're going to consider. We want to decide, here are all the benefits it's going to create, here are all the costs it's going to create, let's add them up in some way and try to make a decision on the basis of that, because as a public decision maker, any choice that you're going to make is going to have significant costs to people and significant benefit.
So I wanted to ask you briefly about
Mm-hmm.
speeding tickets in Finland. This is one of the
Oh,
examples
yes.
that you use. So the idea is that a speeding ticket in Finland, it's not a fixed charge. That how much you have to pay if you get caught speeding depends on your income. The more you earn, the
Mm-hmm.
more you pay.
And I think that economics as a field is often very effective for businesses and firms that are trying to understand the way that people behave in a market and the way that people engage with each other and the way that businesses can maximize their profit. And I think that one of the challenges is when that model gets mapped onto government economists and public economists who are trying to maximize public benefit, but have taken this ideology of, oh, we just have to use some of the same processes that we'd use if we were running a business, that can end you in a world where you're not, the goals and the methodologies aren't perfectly aligned. I hope you enjoyed that quick preview of my conversation with Attic Philosophy. For the full conversation, check out their YouTube channel and check out the links in the description if you are interested in the fantastic book that we were talking about over on Amazon. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.